Guys podcast. I'm the Stone Pony, Devontae Stone. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're in it. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You got to do it today. You know how to do it. Subscribe. Doesn't take that long. Do it right now. It's on YouTube, plus Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Odyssey.com. And coming up on Ayeeee Guys podcast, Chicago's very own Danny Boy. Y'all remember Danny Boy off of Tupac's I Ain't Mad At You? He's going to be on the podcast. He's got a brand new project happening and a brand new album that's dropping on Valentine's Day. We're going to let you know about it coming up. I got to get right into it, though. What a big sports weekend. Amazing, right? Let's talk about that crazy championship game last night. It was horrible. TCU. Yes. Oh, my God. What happened? What happened to TCU? They were just there. 7 points. TCU scored 7 points to Georgia's 65. And by the way, congratulations going out to Georgia for not only doing it once, but getting the championship twice in a row. They did it last night. It seemed like it was effortless. And I don't even know why TCU even showed up. I've got THC sitting here with me. The game last night. Let's talk about it. Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts on the game?
My thoughts was TCU did not prepare well. I believe they went into the game with a different game plan. Instead of focusing on the offense, they just were more defense. And it seemed like on both sides of the ball, each coordinator was they weren't together with the team. Like the offensive coordinators weren't on par with the quarterbacks and receivers, and the defense was just non-existent. Like I said, congratulations to Georgia.
Yeah, because how do you score 65 points? What kind of defense, THC, were they playing? I mean, evidently, TCU had to be good in order to get to this position. Exactly. They were what, 13 and what? They went like 13 and, oh my God. It was something, they had some crazy record where they won 13 games. I think they only lost, it was 13 and 2. Exactly. And what happened? Somebody got the cold feet? Because right off the bat, I think it was like a minute, 2-3 minutes, maybe a minute, Georgia scores.
Right. As soon as the game, like first 5 minutes, they had a touchdown. So from then on, I said, it's going to be a long night for TCU. But also to piggyback on that, a lot of people were saying that Michigan would have put up a better fight, I believe.
If Michigan would have been there. And what was one of the main reasons why Michigan wasn't there? It's because of how these brackets are. It seems like you guys are putting the underdog with this big dog. How does that happen?
I just believe like a lot of this stuff I think is just set up from the start. I think they just want the top teams to play against each other through the seeding. But moving forward, I know going into next season, hopefully the brackets change.
They need to change something.
It definitely needs to change.
I'm sitting up there, I'm like, it was a boring game. I mean, if you were a Georgia fan, of course you were happy, right? Georgia. But it just seemed like it went on and went on and went on.
Right.
And what's Georgia going to win next year? Are they poised to win next year?
It's possible.
Okay,
hopefully, I think they will. It's possible.
What are some of the takeaways from the game that you saw?
I believe the quarterback, Stenson, he will be a top 5 pick. He might be top 3.
In the draft, NFL draft coming up?
Yeah, NFL draft coming up in April. I believe he'll be a top 3 prospect. He'll probably end up going, hopefully, I wouldn't say the Bears, but it's possible. If we keep the number 1 pick going forward, it's possible they might either keep it or trade it, or he'll go to another team like Houston or Jacksonville, any of those teams that's battling for it.
Battling for it. We will see. Crazy game, crazy finish, but congratulations going out to Georgia, winning their second big championship. I was so happy to see DeMar Hamlin.
Yes.
This guy went from being on a ventilator, where he was on the field, from my understanding, we lost him on the field. A lot of people don't know that time when he fell out in that Buffalo Bills game against the Cincinnati and the Bengals, and they had to suspend that game. But this guy had no pulse on the field. But from my understanding, if it wasn't for the staff and the first responders and the people that were ready when all of that was going on, if you were a spectator like myself, and most of the people that were watching the game, we saw what everybody else saw. Him on the field, them coming to help to get him back up or to resuscitate him. But what's crazy, man, to know that he had to be resuscitated not once, but twice. And when you are losing oxygen to the brain, you don't have that long. Things happen so quick, and it could have been really, really bad. And as the days were going on, the reports that were coming out right after the game, wow, is DeMar going to make it? He's making signs of recovery. His eyes are opening. But when I found out that they took him off the ventilator, that was great news, because now he doesn't have to depend on that helping him to breathe. He can breathe on his own. And I just thought it was remarkable for him to take the picture that went viral on social media in his hospital room with his mom, what was his dad, and he was throwing up the iconic, can I even make a heart? Can I make a heart? My hearts are bad. Oh, that looks, but he was throwing it up. This guy, what are your thoughts on his recovery? Did you think that it was going to be as quick?
I didn't think it was going to be that quick, but I do believe, you know, he had faith in that situation. Like, I was praying for him in that situation because he is a great player. And shout out to the Buffalo Bills coach, training staff as well, because they definitely did a great job with, you know, getting him the fastest help possible, finding him the right hospital to go to in Buffalo. And, you know, recently he just came out the hospital. He is going through physical therapy right now. So he's in the process of, you know, slowly but surely. He has a lot of recovery.
He's got a lot of work, a lot of recovery to trying to get back. But I think it was like really encouraging for him to be leaving Cincinnati and going back to Buffalo and actually getting in the hospital down there. But his road to recovery is going to be, I'm sure, extensive. We don't know how long it's going to take, but just knowing that within the week, his progress, those are great signs. And I'm looking that maybe we got some good things to look for in the future. We don't know yet, but let me tell you, him watching that game though, and the Buffalo Bills, they put it on them. They came out and they were determined to do something for number 3. And I just thought it was really good to see how the league and everybody was saying, going for number 3, this is our guy, and just the support around number 3, I thought was really big. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Bills, because now we know exactly where their seating is. We're going to also talk about wild card Saturday that's coming up, and Sunday. I'm excited about that. And most importantly, the Bears getting the number 1 pick. It hasn't been done since 1947. Hey, this guy's podcast. Let me tell you something. The Buffalo Bills did not miss a step. Of course, they have now secured the number 2 spot in the AFC. And positioning is so important. And that's why I think a lot of people were kind of talking about, you know, when that game was suspended. Like, oh my God, because they were trying to position themselves. What are we going to do now? Cincinnati, you know, Buffalo. But now we know that Buffalo has secured the number 2 spot in the AFC. And what a game. What a game. Amazing. Those Buffalo fans are something. You know, Buffalo has been through so much, remember, already. They just had probably one of the worst winter storms in the history, right? They get that snow down there, but people lost their lives. And then, of course, this thing that happened with Hamlin, thank God he's back on the mend. And then, you know, them trying to figure out, can we do it this year? Can we win a Super Bowl? And I'm going to tell you a little something, what I believe. And I was telling my cousin the other day. It's not so hard to see the Eagles and Bills in the championship game, right? In the Super Bowl. It's not really too, I mean, you think about it, but I can really say that Buffalo, this is their year to win it. And what do I mean by that? To not only win the AFC championship game, to get in it, to win it, but to also win the Super Bowl. Remember, back in the day, the Bills
Jim Kelly
went to the Super Bowl 4 times. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They lost all 4 Super Bowls. Crazy. It's almost like Let me tell you how that's like. You know, I say that this is the year of the GOAT. I say that 2023 is Michael Jordan's year, right? The year of greatness. It's almost like Michael Jordan going to 3 NBA finals and losing them. That ain't gonna happen.
I don't know.
The Bills are on the cusp of doing something really good. They have what it takes. They have this team. They should have went there last year. The Bengals came along and destroyed all of that. They should have been in it. But if this is their time to win it, I think THC that this is the year for them to win the Super Bowl. So let's get into wild card weekend. It's going to be a crazy wild card weekend. A lot of teams, as you know, we're trying to scrapple. The NFL season is over, y'all. It's over. Fantasy is gone. The NFL season is over. Now we're talking about what? Playoffs. What? Playoffs in NFL are so much different because you only have that one game. It's not like you're playing a best of 7. It's not like you are playing, oh my God, I'm gonna play this team over again. You have got to go into it and you gotta win because it all depends on that game. And so you got all these 8-8 teams going against these divisional leaders, and I cannot wait. I'm telling y'all right now, be prepared. There's going to be a lot of disappointments. Some of these teams that ended really well, these 12-3 teams, and some of these teams that had pretty decent records are going to meet up with these 8-8 teams, and we're going to kind of get into it, and they are going to be devastated because this is how it works. But I'm excited because it's the playoffs, baby. So in Wild Card Weekend begins Saturday. This Saturday coming up. We got the Seahawks versus the 49ers. So give me your thoughts on that game.
Man, I believe this is going to be, I would say it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think the Seahawks, they started off the season pretty good. You know, Geno Smith has had a comeback season.
He's been amazing.
He's been great this year. You know,
it's like a comeback kid.
Yes, replacing Russell Wilson, who's been their long tenure quarterback. He's now in Denver. He came in. Russell Wilson.
Russell who?
Wilson.
What's his last name?
Wilson.
Married to Sierra?
Yes.
They got
Sierra.
the kid?
Yes, sir.
What happened to him this year? I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Go ahead, continue.
All right, so back to what I was saying. Seahawks, 49ers, I do believe 49ers will win this game. I think it will be a low.
They should win.
Yes, they definitely.
They should win.
Christian McCaffrey, you know, he's their new star back. Debo Samuel. I know they've had injuries. They lost Garoppolo and Trey Lance, both of their quarterbacks. So I do believe this will be a 49ers win in high fashion.
Is the quarterback Purdy?
Purdy. Yes.
Purdy is Purdy. Purdy is not good at it. Yeah, it's just so scary. He looks good.
Right.
It's gonna be his first playoff game, right? You know, you got key players around. You got Christian McCaffrey, who I feel like, I mean, that's the reason why these guys signed Christian McCaffrey, because they knew going into situations like this, we need a guy like Christian McCaffrey, right? You got the tight end. You got Debo's out, of course, like you said, but can they get it done with this first string, with this quarterback and Purdy? So anything can happen in that game. I'm going to go off, and I'm going to say this because I know our camera guy, our videographer, Christian Kenzo, loves the Seattle, these guys. And low-key, he ain't going to tell you that, but I heard his talk. I've heard him talking to some stuff one day, and he loves them. I would not be surprised to see if the Seattle Seahawks get it done, they can make it happen. It could be a surprise. It could be a shocker. All right, so I got the Seahawks upsetting them. Let's go to the next game. Chargers versus Jaguars. For a lot of people that don't know, the Jaguars with Trevor, they had a crazy season at first in the beginning, but they seemed to kind of put it together when it really counted. They ended up getting in. They were 8-8 team. They now face the Chargers, Justin Herbert, and that crew with Austin Eckler. Williams is, of course, I think he's hurt. Keenan Allen, you got these guys. They have a chance to do something special. Who do you like in that series?
Oh, man. That game, to me, will be a defensive game again, like the previous game I just spoke on. Justin Herbert has had an up-and-down season. A lot of injuries on the Chargers side, but they do have a solid defense with the likes of Khalil Mack leading and Bosa leading their defensive line, as well as For the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence has had a great season as well, with a bunch of young guys on their team as well. But in that one, I do like the Chargers in that game. I do think Justin Herbert.
We're on the same path.
Yeah, he's gonna show up and show out for sure.
All right, this will be interesting. Does he have it? He can do it. We know that he could win a Super Bowl one day, but this could be their year. I got the Chargers also upsetting the Jaguars. Let's go to the Sunday game. It's going to be a really interesting game. We know that the Dolphins, people don't understand that the Dolphins are in it. They haven't been in it in a while, over 20 years in the playoffs. Dolphins versus the Bills. Before we go to break, what is your prediction?
I'm going with Buffalo. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I've been rocking with Josh Allen all season. I do love Stephon Diggs. I wish he was a Bear. Many times I watch it, I wish he was on the Bears. But I love the Bills. They're going to miss the presence of Von Miller on defense, as much people know already. I do like Tua. If Tua was healthy, I think Miami would have stood a better chance of winning. But they do have Tyreek Hill and Waddle and those guys on offense. But I think the Bills will prevail, and I think Josh Allen's going to have a big day. So I'm going with Buffalo.
He's going with Buffalo. I'm going with Buffalo. We're going to talk about it coming up. We're going to go to the South Side and talk about the Chicago White Sox right here on Ayeeee, This Guy's Podcast. Sitting here today with my buddy, Mr. Analytics.
Yes.
Why do they call you Mr. Analytics?
A lot of the stats, a lot of the teams, a lot of research. I just love sports and every team about it.
And because you know a little something about betting. Do you love to bet?
Just a little bit.
Bet?
Just a little bit.
You bet a lot.
I bet a lot.
You're at the boat a lot.
A lot of sports.
Like
yes.
you're at the
yes.
boat,
Casinos.
the
Yeah.
casinos and the boats. Things that I love with gold. Anthony Flores, I know I call you Mr. Analytics, but a lot to talk about today.
Yes.
Sad news on the South Side. And White Sox Liam Hendriks was just diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is cancer. I think he kind of talked about it, and our hearts and prayers are with him at this time, along with his family. Talk about that. Devastating. That's devastating.
Looking at the research with this cancer, it's not regular for him to have it at this age, above 30 years old. More than 80 cases are about around his age, but on average, that's not a bad number. His stage is first, he's treating it, and the good thing is that he will fight through this and he will be back in the season. It's just not going to be opening day. It won't be spring training. He needs 6 to 8 months. This is hurting his throat, his bones. He cannot sleep at night. He's probably not eating at night. That's how severe it is, but it is treatable.
It is treatable.
Yes.
So it's good that they kind of caught it
Right now.
Yes. And that's for everybody. I tell people all the time, man, if they can catch something early, some people don't even go to the doctor just because people are scared. Some people are scared to go to the doctor.
Can't be scared. Can't be scared. You
Don't be scared.
No, it's your body.
It's
Take
your
care
body.
of your body.
Take care of your body. And he did. And so now, because he did, maybe he can kind of get through some treatments.
Yes. Yeah, his family's there, his friends are there, the team is still there. He has good treatment, and I will see him back this season. Maybe not this year, but it takes recovery and time. But he has it, and he has a heart, and he feels like he can fight for it.
Excellent. Let's we wish him well.
Yes, I wish
we
him
hope
well.
that this man, because I need my White Sox to be up and ready and to be clicking on all cylinders. But like I say to
Good
anybody,
season, probably. I think so.
Your health is more important than anything. Let's jump and talk about somebody that's just signed the big deal. I always say that these baseball players, boy, they are making. I tell you what, if I could swing a bat or a pitch or something, like, you know what I mean, I would even. They have. It's like no salary cap in baseball. Carlos Correa just signed a 6-year deal worth $200 million. And he is actually signed that with the Twins. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's a divisional rival against the White Sox. It's a good signing. He's older though. Is he worth the money? Maybe, maybe not. But that's what the Twins are taking a chance on. That is a team that we will be facing a lot this season. But at the end of the day, you never know. His age might get to him this year. And honestly, that is a lot of money.
How do you feel about him? Do you think that he's worth this money? I mean, $200 million, bro. I mean, that is a lot of cash. And this is all his, right? It's all guaranteed.
Yes. And
For how many?
and still have like a 25 signing bonus.
Yeah, which is not bad, but how many years is this worth? Like, how many years is this package worth? Do we know?
like more than like maybe 20.
Yeah, because I
20
mean
million a year.
within a like I believe it's a 6-year deal. So 6-year deal for $200 million. That's not bad.
No.
That's pretty.
Oh, he's
decent.
getting paid for his age.
I'm thinking you can go to him for a loan. Like, look, Carlos, my family.
I need this, just a little help.
I may not even be related. I still need some cash, brother. But a lot of money. But he's a great player.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with that. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. You know, I'm a little excited. I got my Bulls hat on. I'm wearing today, guys. I'm excited. People, sometimes I wear my Bulls hat, and they may have just lost the game, and people will be like, "You wearing the Bulls? They suck. They are garbage." But not as of late. I think that for people that don't understand that we at this moment are like out of 3 spots from actually getting an 8th seed.
Yes.
Right. And to be able to advance to play in the playoffs. And as of late, the Bulls have been looking good. They didn't look so good last night against the Celtics. Didn't think that the Celtics was going to win that game. Bulls lost 107-99. But we have, I mean, it's the Boston Celtics. I mean, they're number 1 in the East.
It's hard though, you know. DeMar did get injured in the first half. And
he's got this thing called a right quad strain. I don't know for people who've ever had that or whoever had that type of injury. It is an injury. Do you think that he's going to be out a long period of time, or is this something that we need to be
concerned about? I don't think we should be too concerned about this, but he might be out for a week or 2 to see how his bones and his body's feeling. But it's not a crazy severe injury. But it sucked that we needed him last night. I thought that they could beat the Boston easily. I was taking the Bulls money line and the spread. If he didn't get injured, never know. Never know.
I mean, you never know. Contributing. So he got injured. What was that like? What quarter was it? Do you remember? Was it
first going into the second? Almost.
Yeah,
so, and he had 13 points literally. So I actually thought he was gonna finish off with 30. That was the one beautiful part, that these Bulls are connecting, and this injury might be a minor setback. But now it's time for Levine to step up, and I've been saying this a lot. I think Levine could be this captain for the Bulls. So this is a perfect time right now.
Doesn't it look so good when they're consistent, when they're really playing? I mean, the other game the other night, respectively, I mean, those guys combined for like 70 points, 35 and 36 points, and I think Vucevic, everybody's got to be on the same page. I mean, when you're playing like that as a team, I feel like we're unstoppable, and we can beat those teams. I mean, we beat the Bucks. I mean, we beat the Nets. I mean, right? We beat the Celtics.
Not even fully healthy yet.
I mean, not even fully like playing like we should be playing, this Billy Donovan team. And I feel like as we go on, we can be great. Yes. So let's see what happens with that, okay?
Yes.
I got the Bears. I still got the Bears.
No, you're good.
But I got to tell you about why I got the Bears, but it's going to lead into my next question. Who do the Bulls play next?
They got the Washington Wizards on the road, and right now...
What's the spread on that?
The spread is only half a point. It's literally down the middle. It's 50-50%, and honestly, in my opinion, Wizards have injuries, we have injuries. I would take the total on this one. The total might be at 216, 220. I would take the over on that easily.
All right. So how much money did you win this weekend? Yeah, you're not going to tell.
No.
He always kind of sends me a text about, how much money he's won and everything like that. But let's see what happens with our Bulls.
Yes.
Good job, my friend. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
That's Mr. Analytics. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to Ayeeee Guys Podcast. You got to do it. You can do it today. We're on YouTube. I got the should I hold up my phone and put somebody else has got my phone? How is that my phone is going? It's okay, but we need you to subscribe. Subscribe today to Ayeeee Guys Podcast. Don't forget, coming up on the next episode from Chicago, we got talent. Y'all didn't know Chicago's got talent? Musical talent. Danny Boy will be in the house on Ayeeee Guys Podcast. You keep it locked. I think I'm gonna go get some lunch. I'm so hungry.